You're probably not gonna like hearing this, especially if you just signed your life away for a brand new Toyota RAV4 or dropped a deposit on a Toyota Highlander thinking you just made the smartest financial decision of your adult life. Because the first SUV I'm about to show you, yeah, it's sitting on used lots right now, being ignored like a salad at a Texas BBQ, and it will probably outlive what you just bought. And the last one? That one is gonna mess with your head. Welcome to Old Man Garage, where we don't follow hype. We follow what actually survives. I've been around cars long enough to know one thing. People don't buy the most reliable SUV. They buy the one their neighbor won't question at the driveway. And today, we're fixing that. All right, let's start with the one that shocked me the most. And no, it's not a Toyota, not a Honda, not even something people usually brag about at a barbecue. It's the Buick Envision. Yeah, I know, Buick. Take a second. Let that sink in. You're probably picturing your grandpa pulling into a pharmacy parking lot going 15 under the speed limit. Stay with me. About 3 years ago, a customer rolled into my shop with a 2021 Envision Avenir. First oil change. Clean car. Nothing special at first glance. She told me her father-in-law, retired GM engineer, told her it was the best-kept secret in the SUV world. Now I've heard a lot of best-kept secrets in my life. Most of them end up leaking oil. So I paid attention. Then another Envision came in. Then another. Then another. 7 of them over 3 years. You know how many came in for actual problems? 0. Not one. No breakdowns, no weird noises, no, hey, something smells expensive moments. Just oil changes, brakes, tires, and people leaving like, that's it? At that point, I thought I was either losing my touch or this thing was built different. So I pulled the numbers. RepairPal gives the Envision a perfect 5 out of 5 reliability score. Not pretty good, not above average, perfect. It ranks first out of 32 mid-size SUVs. And before you say, yeah, but maintenance must be expensive. Nope. Average annual maintenance cost, $318. That's not a typo. That's like 2 trips to Costco and 1 bad decision at Starbucks. The average SUV? Around $494. The average vehicle overall? About $591. So yeah, this thing is basically running on financial cheat codes. And here's the wild part. Unexpected repairs happen about 0.2 times per year. That means most owners go about 5 years without anything random breaking. 5 years. Some of you can't go 5 weeks without your check engine light saying hello. Now let's talk about what's under the hood. The 2021 and newer Envision runs a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder pushing about 228 horsepower, paired with a 9-speed automatic. And before you panic at the word turbo, this isn't one of those engines that turns mechanics into homeowners. GM has been using this engine family across multiple brands for years. It's been refined, tested, and, most importantly, beaten up in real-world driving. It runs on regular gas. All-wheel drive is standard. No upsell, no premium package required, no dealership guy smiling too hard. Now let's talk money, because this is where it gets disrespectful. A 2022 Envision Preferred with around 40,000 miles, you're looking at about $19,000 to $22,000. Original MSRP, around $36,000. That's roughly 40 to 47% depreciation in just a few years, on a vehicle that statistically refuses to break. Meanwhile, a comparable RAV4 from the same year is still hanging out in the mid-20s like it owns the place. So let me get this straight. You can pay more for a car that breaks more often, or less for one that basically minds its business and behaves? Yeah, makes total sense. Now, step inside one of these things, especially the Avenir trim. And it gets even funnier. Quilted leather seats, massaging driver's seat, panoramic sunroof, active noise cancellation. It's quieter than your group chat after someone sends a, "Hey guys, we need to talk" message. And then there's that massive curved display across the dashboard. Meanwhile, some competitors still look like they glued an iPad to the dash and called it innovation. Now, before you run out and buy one tomorrow, here's what you actually need to check. Pop the hood and look around the turbo housing for any oil seepage. Not common, but if oil changes were skipped, seals can wear out early. Take it for a drive in city traffic and pay attention between second and third gear. If it feels confused, like it's trying to decide what to order at Chick-fil-A, there's a software update that usually fixes it. Early 2021 models had some brake pad noise in cold weather. Not dangerous, just annoying. About $280 if you want silence back in your life. And if you're looking at the Avenir trim, test the touch screen thoroughly. Run your finger across it like you're judging a phone at the Apple Store. Dead spots are rare, but fixing one isn't exactly pocket change. Now, who should skip this? If you need a third row, not happening. This is a two-row SUV. If you want something sporty, this ain't it. This thing is built for comfort. It glides. It cruises. It does not corner like it drank 3 energy drinks. And if you care deeply about what your neighbors think, yeah, they're gonna see a Buick badge. But here's the thing. The only people still judging Buick are the same people who think Facebook is still cool. Hey, quick favor. If this is already saving you money, send this video to that one friend who thinks buying new is always smarter. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Now, if you think this one is overlooked, the next SUV is so ignored, most people forget it exists 5 minutes after leaving the dealership, and it shares its DNA with one of the most trusted vehicles in America. Wait until you see how much cheaper it is. Now, if that Buick already made you question your life choices a little bit, this next one is going to make you wonder how dealerships keep a straight face. Because this SUV shares its engine, its platform, and most of its bones with one of the most popular family SUVs in America, but somehow sells for thousands less. I'm talking about the Honda Passport. And no, it's not because something's wrong with it. It's because people forget it exists. Seriously, the Passport is like that middle child in a family where one sibling is a doctor and the other is a lawyer. Nobody asks how it's doing, but somehow it's the most stable one in the group. About a year ago, a retired firefighter came into my shop. Solid guy. Knew what he wanted, or at least thought he did. He was locked in on a 2021 Honda Pilot with about 55,000 miles for around $27,000. I asked him one simple question. Do you actually need a third row? He paused, said, no, it's just me and my wife. Exactly. So I showed him a 2021 Passport EXL, 48,000 miles, around $21,500. Same engine, same platform. All-wheel drive, leather seats, heated seats, power lift gate, $5,000 cheaper. He bought it. Last time I saw him, he had added another 40,000 miles. You know what he came in for? Oil changes. That's it. He literally told me, this thing drives exactly the same as the day I bought it. Now let's talk about why. Under the hood, you've got Honda's 3.5-liter V6, the J35 engine family. This is one of those engines that mechanics respect. Not because it's fancy, but because it refuses to die. No turbo, no complicated nonsense. Just a naturally aspirated V6 doing its job like it's clocking in for a union shift. This same engine is used in the Pilot, the Honda Ridgeline, and the Honda Odyssey. It's been around forever, and I've personally seen these engines go past 280,000 miles without major issues. You just replace the timing belt around 100,000 miles, usually around $700 to $900, and it just keeps going like nothing happened. It's basically the automotive version of drink water and mind your business. Now, the transmission in the 2019 and newer Passport is an updated automatic, not the problematic one from earlier Pilot years. By the time this thing hit the market, Honda had already worked out the issues. So what you get is smooth, predictable shifting. No surprises, no drama. RepairPal gives it a 4.5 out of 5 reliability rating and ranks it at the top of its class. Average annual maintenance cost? About $430. That's cheaper than most SUVs in its category. And now, the part where it gets a little ridiculous. A 2020 Passport with around 70,000 miles. You're looking at somewhere between $18,000 and $22,000. Meanwhile, a brand new RAV4 is starting around $32,000, with a 4-cylinder engine making about 200 horsepower. The Passport, 280 horsepower, more space, more power, proven V6, and potentially $10,000 cheaper. At this point, it's not even a comparison. It's just math. Now, when you go check one out, here's what you need to do. Take it to an empty parking lot and do tight circles with the steering wheel fully turned, both directions. Listen for clicking or grinding from the AWD system. Check the transmission fluid. If it looks dark or smells burnt, it means the previous owner skipped maintenance. That's an easy negotiation, around $220 for a fluid service. And get under the vehicle if you can. Look at the subframe. If it's been in northern states, check for rust. Some Hondas have had issues with that. Clean underneath? Good sign. Looks like it survived a shipwreck? Maybe keep shopping. Now, who should skip the Passport? If you actually need a third row, go with the Pilot. If fuel economy is your top priority, this averages around 22 miles per gallon combined. Not terrible, but it's not winning any hybrid awards either. And if you're obsessed with having the latest tech and flashy screens, yeah, the interior is more functional dad energy than Silicon Valley startup. But that's kind of the point. You're not buying the Passport for the screen. You're buying it because it starts every morning, doesn't complain, and doesn't randomly decide to ruin your weekend. Buy one for around $19,000. Drive it 150,000 miles. Spend maybe $3,200 on maintenance total. That's about 15 cents per mile. Try getting that out of anything with a giant touchscreen and ambient lighting. All right, this is the one. If the last two made you raise an eyebrow, this one usually makes people sit back, cross their arms, and go, wait, why didn't I look at this? I'm talking about the Mazda CX-9, and this right here was probably the most disrespected three-row SUV on the used market. Not because it's bad, because people don't even think about it. It's like going to a restaurant, opening the menu, and ordering the same thing every time, while ignoring the best dish on the page. About 8 months ago, a couple came into my shop. 2 kids, third on the way. You could already tell this was going to be a we need space yesterday situation. They were locked in on a 2020 Toyota Highlander, 74,000 miles, $27,500. Solid vehicle, no complaints. Highlanders are good, but I could see it. They were stretching their budget. The kind of stretch where one unexpected bill turns into a bad month. So I asked them, have you looked at a CX-9? They looked at me like I just suggested they buy a spaceship. So I pulled one up. 2020 CX-9 Grand Touring. 62,000 miles, $19,400. Same 3 rows. Nicer interior at that trim. $8,000 cheaper. They bought it. 7 months later, I see them again. Total repair cost outside of oil changes and a tire rotation, 0. Not low, not manageable. 0. Now here's why this thing is so good, and why most people completely miss it. Under the hood, you've got a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, but not the kind that keeps mechanics employed. Mazda engineered this engine differently. It runs cooler. It manages pressure more efficiently. It's designed to reduce stress on internal components. In normal human language, it's a turbo engine. That doesn't act like a turbo engine. And the best part? It runs on regular gas, not premium. So every time you fill up, you're not standing there doing mental math like, do I really need groceries this week? Over a year, depending on how much you drive, that's easily $300 to $400 saved. Now the transmission. This is important. It's a traditional 6-speed automatic. Not a CVT, not a dual clutch. No weird behavior. Just a good old torque converter that shifts smoothly and doesn't try to reinvent the wheel. Fluid change? Around $180, not $800. Not, we need to hook it up to a computer and pray. Simple, reliable, done. Now let's talk numbers. RepairPal ranks the CX-9 at the top of its class for reliability. Average annual maintenance cost, about $539. Segment average, around $784. Probability of major repair, about 10%. Lower than the class average. These aren't marketing numbers. This is based on real repair data from real shops, with real customers who really don't want to come back. Now let's compare it to buying new. A 2026 Highlander, you're looking at over $40,000. A Grand Highlander, around $43,000 starting. Meanwhile, you can pick up a clean CX-9 for under $20,000. That's basically half the price, half. At that point, you're not saving money. You're dodging financial damage. Now, if you're going to check one out, here's what you do. Pop the oil cap and look inside. If you see sludge or milky residue, walk away. This engine likes clean oil. Treat it right, it'll treat you right. Test the infotainment system, especially on 2016 to 2018 models. Some had lag issues. Not a deal breaker, about $250 to fix, but great for negotiation. And please, take it on a winding road. Seriously. If it doesn't feel smooth, controlled, and weirdly fun for a three-row SUV, something's off. Mazda engineers care way too much about driving feel. If it drives like a toaster, that specific car has a problem. Now, who should skip the CX-9? If you need serious towings, it tops out around 3,500 pounds. If you want a hybrid, doesn't exist here. And yeah, Mazda discontinued it in 2023 to make room for the newer CX-90. Some people hear discontinued and panic. Relax. Parts are still available. Mechanics still know how to work on them. The car didn't vanish into the shadow realm. So here's the reality. You've got a Buick Envision, with a perfect reliability score, ridiculously low maintenance costs, and luxury features that make its price look like a mistake. A Honda Passport, with one of the most proven V6 engines ever made, hidden in plain sight, selling for thousands less than it should. And a Mazda CX-9, a three-row SUV that drives better, costs less, and quietly outperforms vehicles people pay double for. And yet, most people will still walk into a dealership, point at a Toyota, and say, yeah, I'll take that one. Why? Because it's familiar. Because it's safe. Because nobody ever got judged by their neighbor for buying a Toyota. But here's the truth nobody likes to say out loud. You're not always paying for reliability. Sometimes, you're just paying for the logo. If this video saved you even $1, hit that subscribe button on Old Man Garage, because we've got a lot more coming that dealerships definitely don't want you to hear. And if you want to see the SUVs that I've personally seen go past 300,000 miles, the ones that just refuse to die, that video is coming next. Send this to someone who's about to overpay for a car. You might actually save them thousands. Drive smart. Take care of your car, and it might actually return the favor. I'll see you in the next one.